Today we are going to look at the 5 deadliest volcano-related events that had ever been recorded. Coming in at number 5, we have Nevado del Ruiz. The Colombian volcano Nevado del Ruiz is an active stratovolcano with a history of generating deadly volcanic mudflows lahars from relatively small volume eruptions. Nevado del Ruiz is the highest of the Colombian volcanoes. Even though it is located very close to Earth's equator, its high summit is covered with a large amount of snow and ice. Its name Nevado means snow-capped. In 1845, an immense lahar flooded the upper valley of the river Lagunas, killing over 1,000 people. It continued downstream before spreading across the plain in the lower valley floor. The young village of Armero was built directly on top of the 1845 mudflow deposit. Over the ensuing years, Armero grew into a vibrant town with over 27,000 residents. On November 13, 1985, history repeated itself for the third time in 400 years, with another eruption and another deadly lahar racing down the river Lagunas. This time, over 23,000 people were killed, including most of the residents of Armero. With proper planning, this tragedy could have been averted. An earthquake storm affected the volcano on October 7, 2013, including a volcanic tectonic quake of magnitude 8,850 feet depth northeast of the Arenas crater. This could indicate that new magma has been rising into the shallow volcanic conduit, which might or not lead to new eruptive activity. Next, we are going to jump over to Indonesia and take a look at the volcano known as Krakatoa. Generated by northeastward subduction of the Indo-Australian plate, Krakatoa is known as a restless volcano located in Indonesia. Although relatively small, when compared to the largest volcanoes along the island arc, Krakatoa is associated with volcanoes have shown the capacity to generate highly explosive eruptions. A series of cataclysmic explosions began at midday on August 26 and ended on August 27 with a stupendous paroxysmal eruption. On this day, the northern two-thirds of the island collapsed beneath the sea, generating a series of devastating proclastic flows and immense tsunamis that ravaged adjacent coastlines. The events that began on August 26 would mark the last 24 hours on Earth for over 36,000 people, and the destruction of hundreds of coastal villages and towns. The cataclysmic blast of August 27 generated mountainous tsunamis up to 131 feet tall that ravaged coastlines across the Sunda Straits. Many of the closest islands were completely submerged after first being overwhelmed by massive pyroclastic flows. Sebesi Island, northeast of Krakatoa, was consumed by a mammoth sea wave. These tsunamis stripped away all vegetation, washed 3,000 people out to sea, and destroyed all signs of human occupation. Nobody knows how many people were washed out to sea by these enormous waves. For months after the eruption, the Sunda Straits were congested with thick pumice banks, often containing 50 or more corpses. Dutch authorities suggest that 90% of which were killed by the tsunami. Here's just another picture illustrating this volcano eruption. Next, we have Mount Pelée coming in at number 3. Mount Pelée is a stratovolcano made mostly of pyroclastic rocks. It can be found on the north end of the island of Martin Cay. Martin Cay is part of the Lesser Antilles volcanic arc. The arc is formed by the subduction of the North American plate under the Caribbean plate. In January 1902, Mount Pelée began to show an abrupt increase in fulmar activity, to which the public showed little concern. This changed, however, on April 23rd, when minor explosions began at the summit of the volcano. Over the next few days, St. Pierre was rocked by earth tremors, showered in ash, and engulfed in a thick cloud of choking sulfurous gas. These nightmarish conditions deteriorated further when the city and outlying villages were invaded by ground-dwelling insects and snakes driven from the slopes of Mount Pelée by the ashfalls and tremors. This all led up to the famous eruption of May 8, 1902, which killed 29,000 people and destroyed the city of St. Pierre. This is the largest number of casualties for a volcanic eruption this century. The destruction was caused by a nua ardent, a type of proclastic flow that consists of hot, incandescent solid particles. Number 2 is Unzen. Located on Kyushu, Japan, Unzen is a group of several overlapping active stratovolcanoes. The massive basaltic to andesitic volcano complex occupies much of the Shimabara Peninsula east of Nagasaki. The volcano is formed along a 30 to 40 kilometer long east-west aligned graben. The historically active vent of Unzen, Mayuyama Lava Dome Complex, is about 4,000 years old. In 1792, the collapse of one of its several lava domes triggered an avalanche and tsunami that killed about 15,000 people, making it Japan's worst ever volcanic-related disaster. The last eruption of the volcano were from 1990 to 1995. The largest eruption in this period occurred on June 3, 1991, when a proclastic flow killed 43 people, including 2 famous French volcanologists. And last but not least, we have Tambora, the most deadliest volcano ever recorded. The Tambora eruption of 1815 is known as the deadliest volcanic eruption in recorded history. Located in Sumbawa, Indonesia, the Tambora volcano was formed by a convergent plate boundary involving the Eurasian plate and Australian plate, in which the dense Australian plate is subducting beneath the Eurasian plate. Present-day Tambora, like all stratovolcanoes, contains andesite magma. Andesite's color ranges from gray to black, with silica being just over half of its composition by weight. It normally produces long, thick lava flows arising from explosions that can rise in columns. Since the 1815 eruption, the lowermost portion of Tambora contains deposits of interlayered sequences of lava and proclastic materials. Approximately 40% of the layers are represented in the 3 to 13 foot thick lava flows. On April 10, 1815, Tambora produced the largest eruption known on the planet during the past 10,000 years. The volcano erupted more than 50 cubic kilometers of magma, with a rating of 7 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index. Most deaths from the eruption were from starvation and disease, as the eruptive fallout ruined agricultural productivity in the local region. The death toll varies depending on what source one looks at, ranging from 71,000 to 100,000. The eruption created global climate effects. 1816 became known as the year without a summer, because of the effect on North American and European weather. Agricultural crops failed, and livestock died in much of the northern hemisphere, resulting in the worst famine of the 19th century. During an excavation in 2004, a team of archaeologists discovered cultural remains buried by the 1815 eruption. They were kept intact beneath the 9-foot deep proclastic deposits. At the site, dubbed the Pompeii of the East, the artifacts were preserved in the position they had occupied in 1815. And right here, we actually have a picture of those remains. I would like to thank you for coming with me on my adventure of the 5 deadliest volcanoes.